Season. My body moves in seasons, in cycles of 4 and 5. I pace along my seething, and wonder how to keep the fire in winter. I must descend like Persephone underground. The cold and darkness hear me, and until spring I can't be found. I blanket myself in throes of throes, blocking out all light and responsibility. My tender heart weakens and shivers, but hibernation is not for society. I find it hard to go outside. I simper and howl in solitary pride, for I've slept and wept and crawled back to my old habits, like a moth to the flame or Icarus to the sun. But instead of heat and warmth and lightness and hope, I find something much darker in my robes of solitude, hidden from the likes of those who push through their weighted exhaustion. For I cannot feign the like. I cannot awaken in the deep hollow night of winter's kiss. I long for the sun. It's her face I miss the most when I hunker down and sleep like Persephone in Hades underground. Then I awaken one day in the deepest slumber. I wipe fatigue from my eyes and shake despair from my frame because something or someone called me away. Up? Is it truly time anew? I've woken unbidden and heard the sun's dew calling frost off the blades of browning grass, calling all of nature out the icy blasts of winter, like Demeter calling out for spring. Come, daughter, rise, it's time to leave your king. And though I slept in comfort, I must awaken like a stem, budding from the shell and breaking free of frozen hell. I poked my head above, using all my bloody might. I broke the surface and found my limbs weak and shaking, for they forgot how to run. Oh, they forgot the glory of the sun, still hidden, wrapped in gray-cloaked clouds. But I rise again and stand up screaming loud, how can I do this in the cold and rainy dell? And mother croons and whispers, my daughter, you're doing well. But I'm weak and simpering and moaning and crying. Was this a miracle, or were the oracles still scrying their misery onto my head? For surely it can't be harder than rising from the dead of night into the bright and blooming day. But spring is only sprung once she's melted winter's sway. The ice departs, but the soggy chill remains. I recall the blankets cast over my aching sack of bones and find that awaking was worse than casting stones to find solace in the fate and mysteries. But the sun shone hotter, dancing across the sky for me. She danced across the ether, calling Gaia to her feet, and watched as buds bloomed and brown grass grew whole and green. Once more trees bowed and Bevy found at last their tender leaves to chew, both flora and fauna bound with delight. The scurries and worries of the forest took flight, like the eagles that squawked and soared, like the ravens nesting their wisdom in the old oaks and willows, the whispering tragic wood, the old crone that stands there, as 1,000 years she stood, bellowing in the breeze while hosting birds and bees and relishing in the delight that summer brought. A bounty for the gods, spilling over honey so sweet, the nectar only told in tales of mighty feet. Only fairies delight in these things, for if we tasted their glorious succor, for 1,000 years we'd forget how humans suffer and return to empty homes. So for us, we avoid the rings, but stay a while in the harbor of the sun, and dance and sing around the maypole, then graze our hands against midnight sun. I had forgotten my weakness, and how far I'd come from the aching, moaning slumber that weakened all of me. No, it was always summer that made me feel this free. Dark skin under the blissful ignorance of the heavy work of day. For the beauty of the sun kept my mind in play. I conquered nations and valleys, and to mountain tops I soared. Of this complete luminescence one could simply never bore. Oh, the sun, an ode to the bliss of the gods, of the righteous kiss of ray against skin, leaving freckles as their reward. I turned my face to the heavens and blessed the earth and more. I didn't notice when green turned gold and red. I didn't notice the harvest shoots waving in fields as rich as mother's tongue. She tinkered and laughed and called me for her scythe. Come, daughter, the golden fields have thrived. And off to work we went, taking what we sowed, cutting away branches and shoots that could not bear to grow in the face of the mighty sun's stare. We thanked them for their wisdom and parted with them there, separating between the wheat and chaff, taking the harvest and splitting it in half to share with all who claimed their feast, for summer's sun wrought the hunger's beast. A cool breeze dipped off Poseidon's blue terrain, for all the food we'd eaten was all the meat we'd gain for survival in the season far ahead. But I wouldn't see it, for I'd love them all till they're dead. The shoots rang out their final cry, and we fed ourselves in plowed fields dry. I shivered, unexpectant of autumn's cruel embrace, and my blood slowed and my heart forgot its pace. Mother once again tittered, for I, her silly child, had forgotten my duties while summer ran me wild. But she knew, and packed me bags and bags of rice. She knew I didn't stop once, let alone to think twice before the seeds of pomegranate grew stale in their sweet taste, and Hades' voice rung out, "Remember love, make haste." Tears slipped down my begotten cheeks, and I remembered all I knew. I held my mother as close as I could and bid her and the earth adieu. The cold seeped in, and once again my muscles began to ache. I felt rotten and roiling when Samhain opened the gate. With tender tears I wiped my cheek and sang love songs to the land. For I knew when I returned once more, we'd have to start again. My body moves in seasons, in waves of 4 or 5. I took my last breath and saw the flame come alive. "Are you ready?" she asked, the old crone who danced in dew. "Am I ever?" I cried. The answer she already knew. "Your body moves in seasons, in moods of 4 or 5. My love, please remember, it's why we're all alive." The old crone took my frigid hand and led me through the dark. "Remember each season as a blessing. Each phase must do its part."